the guests come into the living room, and sure enough, there's Nick and Taylor Sheridan. And so I was very polite and did my little show and told stories, and all the while being like, wow, this is crazy. But held it together best I could, and they left, and I thought, wow, what a crazy night, and thanked my friend for having me. And then about 10 months later, I got a text from her, and she said, "Is there any chance I could give Taylor Sheridan your number? He was asking me for it." And so I said, "Well, yeah, of course you can." Duh, yeah, you
Yeah,
can give it to him.
please do.
His casting director called me and said, "We're putting together a show with Blake Shelton, and it's going to be called The Road, and we're going to, really take folks on the road."
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. First episode of Talking Tunes. I'm so happy to be back with you guys. It has been way too long. I gotta take these glasses off. It has been way too long that we have been apart. I am so excited to be back, and I am so excited to have Olivia Harms with me today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Contestant on
happy.
the road. We're going to talk about that, but that is not the only thing that we're going to talk about because you are known for so much more than that. But that has just been your latest adventure. Um, Olivia Harms, country western. We got to make sure we get that in there because original country music, western. You're just like original country music. Tell everybody just a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to let you kick things off with a song.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me back for your very first episode. Back at it. I'm just so tickled to be here. So thank you for having me. And it's fun. Well, we finally got the Pacific and the Eastern time zone matched up. So I'm glad we could make it happen. So yeah, that being said, I'm on the Pacific. I'm a West Coast girl, way out west. I grew up in Oregon, in a small town called Canby. And so I grew up on a ranch that's been in my family since 1872, which is over, I think, 53 years, if I can do math. So it's a really long time. Same family, same piece of property. We're still running and chasing cows around, cutting grass, hay. So I grew up with a very ranching background, production ag. And then on top of that, my mom is a musician. So I grew up around music and ranching. And so it's really no wonder that I turned out to be a little cowgirl country western musician, I guess, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with your mom. Love her music as well. That is, and we'll talk a little bit about that later too. Joni Harms, if you guys want to go look her up and check her out. Amazing voice that your mom has as well. Now is she still putting music out currently? I know like I saw 2024 was kind of the last album or some music that she put out. Is she still like currently?
Yeah, she still actively writes. I don't know if she's got anything on the schedule to go in the studio and record and get new music out, but she still travels, she still writes, she still plays. In fact, I'm fixing to hit the road with her on Friday. We're doing a road trip to Texas to go play some shows, and I left some furniture there, so we're gonna go get it.
That's awesome. That's got to be so cool to just to do music with your mom.
It is. It's a really cool thing. And, she really is my favorite person and my best friend. And so then to share music on top of it, it's so great because, man, there's times where, like I can talk to my husband or my best friend about it, and they'll understand that maybe I'm stressed, or maybe something like with the road when I first found out. They'll understand the mixed emotions like any person would. But my mom truly gets like the music side of it, and she understands like the true feelings of like what it's like to have the pressures of being on stage, or being with a different band. She truly gets it firsthand, which is just like invaluable that I have somebody that I can talk to, and I know that they're not saying, "Oh, I know what you mean." Like they really do. They feel what you're talking about. So I'm lucky to have her.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, well, if you want kick things off with a song and then we'll dive into everything else Olivia. Tell us about what song you're going to do for us.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of a true story song. We'll dive into some more of my life later. But I wrote this True story. I decided in COVID that I was tired of waiting for music to come back to life. And being on the West Coast, things were really shut down, as they were lots of other places. But good old Texas is pretty hard to shut down. And so I saw my songwriting buddies were leaving Nashville and going down to Texas and going to play music because they were pretty wide open, not a lot of restrictions. And so I had waited around in Oregon for a little while, and I finally said, you know what, that's it. My dream is not going to chase itself. So I'm gonna go find myself a travel trailer to buy. I'm gonna load up my two cow dogs. I'm gonna load it with some sound gear, my good old guitar, enough boots and hats to last me for a couple months, and I'm gonna drive from Oregon to Texas. And my mom and dad were like, I don't know, girl, that's kind of crazy, but. I think they know that they raised me to be really stubborn and hardworking, and once I set my mind on something, it's probably going to happen. So this is a true story. When I was in the middle of New Mexico, I finally realized how far away from little old Canby, Oregon I was. But it didn't matter how many people said I couldn't do it, or, they doubted that I could drive a trailer from Oregon to Texas because I got there and I thought, here I am, I'm on my way. I'm never going to look back and wonder what if. So this is for all the dreamers out there like me. Dreamed about those bright lights, wonder what it feel like. Wishing on a star won't take you far. Played every place in a small town, from the coffee house to the fairgrounds. Till I set out on my own. I was born to roam. Don't matter what they say, I'm on my way. Try, spread my wings and see if I can fly. No way to tell what's around the bend. This dream keeps moving faster every day. God only knows where this road goes. I'm on my way. Oh, that's right. Mama called me again this morning, checking to see how it's going. 1,000 miles from home, living out here on my own. I said last night I saw smiles on people's faces. They seem to like the music I've been playing. Taking this guitar, playing it'll take me far. I'm closer every day. I'm on my way. Try, spread my wings and see if I can fly. No way to tell what's around the bend. This dream keeps moving faster every day. God only knows where this road goes. I'm on my. God only knows where this road goes. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
It's
Love
true. It's
it.
true. So if a blonde-haired girl can hook up a trailer to her pickup and drive it from Oregon to Texas by herself, I think that if there's somebody out there that's got a dream, I'm pretty sure you can do it if I can drive a trailer back and forth to Texas.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, dreams are not coming to you. If you want something, you've got to make it happen.
That's right.
And I
Oh
mean,
man, isn't that the truth?
yeah, and dream big. I have always said that. I said that to
Absolutely.
my children. I mean, I told all my kids that reach for the stars, dream big, chase after it, go. I mean, people are not
Absolutely.
going to people are not going to make things happen for you unless you go after it. Chase your dreams, go for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to go out there and chase it hard. I couldn't agree more. That's always my first piece of advice that I give to new songwriters or new musicians, and they say, "What do you think I should do?" And I always say, well, you gotta go chase it hard because nobody comes knocking around on doors for you saying, "Hey, do you play music? Is there any chance you'd want to come play here?" That's not really how it works. Unfortunately, I wish it did, but you gotta go find the opportunities, and then you gotta go convince them to hire you, and it's a lot of hard work. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't pay off in the long run.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, it's not like things don't happen just overnight easy either. They don't call Nashville a 10-year town
No,
for nothing. And, I'm sure in Texas, Oregon, things think nothing, nowhere. Music doesn't happen overnight. You didn't just end up on the road overnight. You've worked
right.
years to get to where you are. But tell us how it did happen that you ended up on the road.
Yeah,
How did
such a
that come
crazy
about?
story. I still like am in shock. You know, sometimes I
I'm
still can't
sure.
believe that that was something that happened to me. And I now that's a sentence that I can say is like I'm on this TV show with like Shelton and Taylor Sheridan and Keith Urban. Like that just seems
Those are
wild
such
to me.
3 huge names.
Huge names,
Yeah.
huge. And then you like we're not even mentioning Gretchen. Like Gretchen Wilson is on there. It's crazy. Yeah, super crazy. And so I don't know. I have to honestly give most of the credit to the big guy upstairs. He must have finally been like, this girl is not gonna relent. Like she's not gonna quit. So I guess finally he was like, here's a nugget. You've been working hard. But truly, I did a house concert in Fort Worth because I lived there for quite a while. I still have a house in Fort Worth. And I was playing this little house concert for a friend of mine that I've met through the Cowgirl Hall of Fame. And she said, we're going to have a couple of, couples come to this dinner party I'm hosting. And I just want you to play music in the living room and, be very intimate and short and sweet. Just tell a couple stories, sing a couple songs. So I showed up and the guests come into the living room and sure enough there's Nick and Taylor Sheridan. And so I was very polite and did my little show and told stories and all the while being like, wow, this is crazy, but held it together best I could. And they left and I thought, wow, what a crazy night. And thanked my friend for having me. And then about 10 months later, I got a text from her and she said, is there any chance I could give Taylor Sheridan your number? He was asking me for it. And so I said, well, yeah, of course you can. Duh, yeah, you
Yeah,
can give it to him.
please do.
I know it. So yeah, and then shortly after that, his casting director called me and said, "We're putting together a show with Blake Shelton, and it's going to be called The Road, and we're gonna, really take folks on the road." And really didn't give me much information at all, except that it was going to be a real life show about what it's like to be a touring musician, and we got to play original songs. And so those two things totally had me sold.
Easy.
And
Yeah.
before, yeah, I was like, this is going to be the very first show that we can play original music on national television. Not that there's anything wrong with the other shows. I think they're great too. Any platform to get musicians out there is wonderful. But as a songwriter, I
It's
really love
different.
the idea of being able to. Absolutely different. Yeah. And just so neat that, people get to see what it's like to be a musician from their TV in their living room. Cause all too often, I know what it's like to do my job, but most folks don't. And so they'll say, oh, what a fun job you have. You just get up and you're having drinks and you're having a good time and you go from place to place and you see all over the world. And
They see the
absolutely, those
glitz
are
and
all
glam of
wonderful
it, not
parts.
the grit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There's so much grit. There really is. Being away from home is so hard on
Yeah.
your heart, being away from, my husband, friends, family, missing out on birthdays, weddings, all these life things that you want to be a part of. And then, not to mention like packing up and then unpacking and home sweet hotel, just
Yeah.
all the different things where it's wearing down on you if you're sick or if you're going through something in your personal life. You got to suck it up because there's people there that want to hear music and they don't really care that you're going through something, so the show must go on.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's one thing I'm loving about watching the road. And I almost hate to say loving because I'm seeing you guys suffer. Like literally suffer
Yeah.
watching the
Yeah.
road. Um, you know, and I hate that I'm like mad that you've been eliminated already.
Mhm.
Um, but like I'm seeing Billy Joe sick, dog sick.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
previews last night, Cody is battling kidney stones.
I
I'm
know.
seeing,
Crazy stuff.
I'm seeing, you know, like literally y'all just missing home so bad. And
Yeah.
like Billy Joe had me in tears last night. Like, I don't know how that girl performed as sick as she was. And then the song she sang, and just,
Yeah, I know.
just so much emotion that all of you guys have displayed. Um, and just seeing the raw realness of it.
Yeah,
Like, you know, and not that we don't see that on the Voice or American Idol, but I feel like those shows are sugar coated somewhat. Like we see
for
them at
sure.
Disney World, and we see the fun,
Yeah,
but I feel like we're
yeah.
seeing real life here on this show. So we're seeing like the
You
good and the bad.
absolutely are, which is yeah, and I'm so glad that they're like able to bring this, not because I don't think that, musicians want people to feel sorry for them. I hate sympathy. I'm so blessed to get to do something that I love so
I
much.
don't feel
And
like
I know
it's
everybody
sympathy.
else on the road feels that way, but it is super nice just to have like, you can see what we go through, at least understand our
Yeah,
job a little better.
yeah.
That's
No, I
that's
think
really neat because sometimes people will say, "What do you do all day?" I'm like, "Man, I do so much all day." Or, like I try to find your own little piece of like, yeah, what's going to keep me sane while I'm going through this experience? Or what do I need to do for me because I'm not in anything that's a real normal surrounding right now, different bed every night, you just have to buck up and do it.
so. What do you do to keep your sanity, to keep your health in check? What are some of your routines that you do to stay healthy while you're on the road?
Yeah, I'm a big walks, like outside, run, nature gal, like you'll definitely find me every morning that I was on the road or the TV show The Road, or that I actually am on the road with my band touring through the western states or wherever. I usually go at least 2 to 3 miles every day. It's just like my time where sometimes I'll talk to my mom and you just like catch up, and or another, other good friends. You have that time to just catch up and be a human and just talk with your friends, get things off your chest. Sometimes I listen to music or, pray or just take in like what's going on. But I think the fresh air, getting out, moving your body, like that's always been the trick for me. I can always tell, if I'm kind of in a funk or in a bad mood. And then I think, why is that? Well, then I'll say, I guess I haven't been outside for a walk or any fresh air yet today. I need to just go out and be a little bit in nature. And I don't know if that's because I come from a ranch where I was just so used to having fresh air all the time. But that's always what does it for me. And then, if I can't have my dogs with me, I'll always ask people if I can pet their dogs. They're just, I was like, let me please pet your dog.
Dog therapy.
I need it. Yeah, man. Yeah. And then, I definitely am the gal that packs vitamins and, tries to drink lots of water and those things. But if it's been a real hard day, then I'm hitting up the wine for sure.
Yeah, give me that drink. All right,
Yeah, that's
you
the
mentioned
vitamin.
your dogs. We're definitely coming back to Luna in just a minute, but uh, before we leave the conversation of the road, what was your experience on the road? What was the best and the worst?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best was just getting there that first day when the cameras were on. And I mean, like, there was a lot leading up to it that went on behind the scenes. We had been in
Oh, I'm sure.
Nashville first to do a lot of rehearsals and get to know each other and get to know the rules and of course sign all of our NDAs and our paperwork and things. But I
Yeah,
think
so
that
you had
first
been
day
on
when
for quite a while.
oh man, yeah, we had to keep the lid on it for, I guess, I had the call about it in December of 2024. And then we started filming February through April. It filmed for quite a while. And then, it was all done. And we said, I guess we can't talk about this. I told my husband and my mom, but everybody else is in the dark. They're wondering what the heck I've been doing.
And we're still in the
Where's
dark on
Liv?
so much.
I know. Yeah. Dang it. But such a cool experience when we got to Fort Worth and we did our media day and they just had like all the photographers there. We did our big group picture. I mean, we had all of our solo shoots. We had lots of intake videos, lots of social media content that we were filming. And I think we were all just like, wow, this is like really happening. We're really like pinching yourself like, how in the heck did I manage to land myself on a TV show that's like really good too? That's like honestly letting me be who I am as an artist, play my original songs. They want to tell my story. They're not trying to change my story and say, be less of a cowgirl, please. They're just totally taking me for who I am and saying, we want you on this first tour bus. So that was really
Fantasy.
cool. Yes, absolutely. Such a surreal, amazing experience. And then just getting to know all the other artists, like the 11 that I'm with, I still have to say I can't believe that Olivia Harms is a name on that roster because everyone is so talented and they've all worked so hard and each one genuinely deserves to be there on the bus. So, I mean, just that whole experience was unreal. And then I think, the worst is being sent home for sure. You're not wanting to go. But realistically too, I have to say, I'm not hurt that I got booted off. I think any realistic person can look at country music and realize there's a couple different subgenres in there. And I adore Keith Urban. I think he is so talented as a musician and an entertainer, and I'm a very big fan. I just don't know that any normal person would schedule Olivia Harms as the opener for Keith Urban because we're just very different, and that doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't like get upset about it. I was handpicked for a show, so they must think that I got something to offer.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I think could it have been like a different headliner? Maybe I would have done a little better if it was like George Strait or Cody Johnson or
Yeah.
somebody more in that
Or even
vein
Blake
of like
Shelton.
traditional country. Even Blake Shelton, absolutely. I think it was just when it came down to, it is really Keith Urban's fans that come to this pop-up show, and unbeknownst to them, they get to hear 12 openers, 11 openers, whatever it is. And then about 10% of them got randomly selected with voting devices, and then they get to vote on who
Oh,
their favorite opener is. And so
okay.
that's really how the whole show works. And so
So
you
they don't
have
know
Keith
ahead of
Urban.
time that you guys are there.
No, no
Oh,
idea. We weren't allowed to advertise. We weren't, actually, that was one of the big no-no rules of the whole show is if you let out that you're going to be playing, they wanted to keep it so fair, which I really admire. Some of
yes,
us have
yes.
bigger social media followings than others. And
And
so
the
they were
whole
like, man,
audience does not have the voting things.
no, just about 10%.
Oh, see, that's even
Hmm.
better. I love that. See, we
Yeah.
don't know that
Yeah.
in
Yeah, they were very, very fair about it. And
yeah,
they wanted to make sure that it was really, all across the board. Nobody was getting special treatment, no matter how many Instagram followers or TikTok followers you
yeah,
have outside of the road. You're
yeah,
getting treated like you are all on the same playing field, which was really neat.
yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's the only downfall, though, is they're in love with Keith Urban music, and then here comes a cowgirl. I don't know if
You
they
know,
know what to do with me, but that's okay.
I don't know when it comes down to it that that really has anything to do with it.
No, I mean, it's okay.
No,
It was no sweat off my back, honestly. And you're bummed to go, but that's why you didn't see me that upset when I was headed out. I mean, of course I was bummed and I was really wishing that I could stay. But there's no reason to cry or just be tragic about it. I got to be on a TV show and now hundreds of thousands of people are going to know my music when they wouldn't have before. So I took it all as a really big win.
absolutely. I mean, because it's an honor of a lifetime to have been picked to be on the show. And I mean, it's crazy. I've got to go back to how you even were noticed to be on the show. You were at a house party that Taylor Sheridan just
Yeah.
happened to be at. I mean, what? Like that just goes to show you never know when someone is going to discover you. You would you have expected
Absolutely.
to be
You
playing at
absolutely
a house
never know.
party and be discovered? That's crazy.
No, I mean that's the best advice I can give. Also young artists or aspiring musicians. Sometimes my band will be like, "Why are we playing here?" And I mean they're really good sports, but sometimes I'll be like, I know tonight wasn't our best show. Like maybe we didn't have a great turnout, or maybe it was a really small like backyard party. Who knows? You name
Yeah,
it. some of my best opportunities, some of the craziest things that have happened to me have come from like playing really small shows or playing a show where I thought it was like a real dud and just one person was there and then they're like or even they weren't there and they saw my poster and then they're like, who the heck is this gal? And then they look me up and give me these like life-changing opportunities. So you never know.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in like everything happens for a reason. When it's your time regardless. And
Yep,
just give it
absolutely.
110% every single time, no matter what, because you just never know. And that's proof positive. So,
If that ain't the truth, I mean, you're
yeah,
so right.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know, shoot your shot for everything because what's the worst that can happen? You're going to get told no, or, you know, you fail, but next time you might get a huge old yes, and it's going to be the opportunity of a lifetime, you know?
Yeah, you get a lot more no's than you do yeses in our industry, but I'll tell you that all the no's are worth it when you finally get the right one and you say, "Okay, God, I see. I see why you were saying no all those other times because it just wasn't the right thing." And I'm so glad. I'm so glad that
Oh, yeah.
none of those worked out because this is way better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel exactly the same way. Exactly. Um, and I'm looking at my watch because I'm like, I'm gonna go to an hour. I kept saying I'm cutting the show from an hour to 30 minutes, but I'm like, I'll end up being on here an hour just chit chatting. But I'm trying not to do that to you. We gotta talk about Luna.
Okay, I will always talk about Luna.
Got tickled to death when I saw your story the other day. She just turned 8. For those of you that do not
She
know, we're
did.
not talking about a human here. We're talking about still Olivia's baby. But it's her fur baby. And
She
Luna just
is.
turned 8. And if y'all didn't
I
catch
know.
Olivia's story, now this was probably the birthday parties of all birthday parties to go to. I laughed till I cried because I thought it was the most beautiful, cutest thing ever. Probably the best birthday party ever. But look, my
I love
daughter
it.
would have done the same thing for her dogs.
I
Now, have
love
you
it. I
always
mean,
given
Luna is
all of your
a
dogs birthday parties or just Luna?
no, I mean, I try to be fair and throw for all of them. Luna is my like she's, we can't choose favorites, but she's just very special. And then shortly after that, I got Elmer. So I do have two cow dogs. They're the ones that have been like with me through it all, Luna and Elmer. And then my husband had a couple of cow dogs. We lost one, but we still have Sam. So we have three. We're a blended family of three cow dogs, and I try to be fair and throw birthday parties for all of them. But Luna is definitely a special girl. She's a real ranch dog. I was actually dating a guy that had accidental puppies. He had Catahoula Border Collie cross puppies, and I was like, okay, I know you don't want to deal with them. I will take them and I will. It was like, October 30th. I was like, that's going to be right around Christmas time, puppies. That'll be perfect. I'll deal with them. You don't have to. So I took them over to Canby, Oregon, and set up shop and was selling puppies for Christmas. Everybody was all tickled, and I was down to one. And actually, this guy offered to buy it, but I just like felt like something wasn't right about him. And I'm always one to trust my gut. I don't know if you can ever explain it, but I just always think a woman's intuition. And if you feel something funny, like you just trust it, and you don't even have to have an explanation. So I said, nope. I found a home for her already, and that was not the truth. Find a I'm gonna find a home for this puppy. And I was carrying her around, and then she said, well, are you gonna name it? And I said, well, I don't know, she's got a little crescent moon on her back, so maybe I'll call her Luna. And we'll find her a good home. And next day I was driving back to where I was living at the time after the holidays, and she just kept looking at me, just like she could just read my soul. And so yeah, my mom knew all along. She's like, "Well, you named it. I knew you were gonna keep her." And I truly believe that God just was like, "You're gonna need this dog." It didn't work out with the guy, and I ended up going on all these crazy adventures by myself, where I really don't know that I would have been able to do it if I didn't have a couple little companions. You know, when
Yeah.
you're on the road in the middle of nowhere, staying in a trailer between Luna and Elmer, and like I was always like, I'm safe, you know, I'm okay. I've got a couple buddies. I'm not alone. They give you comfort more than you could ever imagine sometimes when you're going through hard things, missing home, or just wishing that things were maybe further along in your life in different ways. So I will always be a crazy dog lover, and like I said on Instagram last week, I if people don't understand, that's silly because
Oh no,
I think
no,
if you love your dogs, and yeah, they're special. So I'm glad you saw her birthday party. It was a smash success. We had a really good time.
nope. I absolutely get it. That's why I loved that story so much. I was like, I laughed not in a silly way, but in a in a heartfelt way. So I was like, I absolutely love
I love
this.
it.
Yes, yes, I loved it. So we're gonna end things. That's why I wanted to end on a Luna note. Because I loved it so much. If I was Kelly Clarkson, I'd be liking that, which I did like it. So yes, I loved it so much.
I
Um,
love it.
yes, I love it. So we're gonna let you end out the show with another song. Um, I am just I love so much that I could open Route 66 back up having you on the show. I've absolutely loved it so much. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me. I appreciate it so, so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a blast. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun.
Tell us about this song that you're going to close us out with.
Let's close out with a rodeo song because I am your, country western cowgirl musician, anyways. And this is probably my most recent release that's done pretty well for me. It was in the top five on the Texas Top 100 chart for over 6 weeks, so it did all right for me. And I opened up my first show in the Fort Worth Stockyards on the road with this song. And it's kind of a fun one. It was the first song I wrote by myself in a really long time. I was having writer's block and, just really having trouble coming up with anything to write about. And so I called my mom and she said, "Well, you should just sit down and write, don't think about it so much." And so, then I kind of got back after it, and I wasn't trying to write a, reverse true story song, but when she said, "Don't think about it too much," this is kind of what came out. And I was at a time in my life where I felt like, man, I'm just always in one town for a day or two, and then off I go to the next one. And maybe I'll meet a nice guy at a rodeo and we'll have a dance after the show or something. But then off I go again. I'm not really in a place where I can have a relationship. And I thought, I break hearts, baby. Don't you know? This ain't my first rodeo. So then I wrote the song. This little lady was born a runner, chasing down that morning sun. About the time you came along, I was fixing to get gone. Sorry, it's gotta be this way. Maybe I'll come back one day. This ain't my first rodeo. We'll have a good running when it's time to go. I'll leave you in a cloud of dust, driving off in my pickup truck. Darling, don't try to tie me down. It won't be long, I'm leaving town. Break hearts, baby, don't you know this ain't my first rodeo? Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. I don't mean to lead you on. Sometimes I let things go too long. Big dreams can leave my mess. Too late for me to change, I guess. Sorry, it's gotta be this way. Maybe I'll come back one day. This ain't my first rodeo. We'll have a good running when it's time to go. I'll leave you in a cloud of dust, driving off in my pickup truck. Darling, don't try to tie me down. It won't be long, I'm leaving town. I break hearts, baby, don't you know? This ain't my first rodeo. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Yeah, all right. I
Well,
love that
thank you.
song.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love
Oh,
it.
well, thanks. You know it ain't. You know it ain't my first rodeo.
No, it's not. And that makes me think of your closet clean out that you did. And I was so
Yes.
sad that I couldn't just buy up everything.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Yeah, it's kind of fun, every now and then, about every six months or so, twice a year, I go through, and I'm so lucky and blessed that there's, folks and brands that want to collab with me, which is so fun. But you can only wear so many things and, store so many things too after I do a collab or like a highlight on them. And so then sometimes I think, well, I guess maybe we'll do like a little closet clean out. So some of the stuff that I just haven't had the chance to wear recently, or, I've worn a couple times and then it's just not gonna have another chance, well, then it can go to somebody else's closet and they can give it a new life.
Yeah, so you guys listening or watching, if y'all like boots and nice clothes, y'all make sure you're following Olivia because you will want to be like right there when she announces a closet clean out because I'm telling you the good stuff gets gone fast. Trust me.
Well, thank
Um,
you, darling. Yeah. It's been
yeah,
fun. It's always like kind of exciting to see what's gonna go. I'll like have my guesses and then I'll be like, oh wow, I wouldn't have seen that one going quick, but she gone.
yeah, it's gone. And
She
yeah, if
gone.
you're size 8 or 8.5 in boots, you better be there quick because too big for me. I was mad.
Dang
I,
it.
I was
I
like,
know, I know.
oh man. I was like, if I put some insoles in these boots, can I wear them? I'm like, I don't think that's gonna work. Then
Shoot,
I thought,
shoot.
yeah. I was like,
Maybe
dang
I'll convince Mama Harms to do one.
it. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now we're talking. She's like a 6.5, 7, so she's a little smaller.
man. Oh,
How
one
small
of
are
these
you?
days I'm gonna have some boot people want to collab with me, and then it'll work.
There we go. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna work. I mean, my husband would probably die because he's probably in there thinking, "No, she has enough boots. It's fine."
Never enough boots. Never,
I know that's what I try to tell him. I'm like, you can never have too many boots. You can never have too many purses. You can never have too many hats.
No.
Like,
Next
no,
time he gives you trouble about it, you just come to me. I'll reassure you.
I know. Men, they don't get it. They don't get it. It's like I try to tell him. It's
They
like
just don't get it.
I try to tell him it's like tools for him because every time we go somewhere where they have tools, he's like, "Oh, I could use this, I could use that," and I'm like, "Don't you already have this or that?" So
I know. I know.
yeah,
Fair is
and
fair. We get boots, they get tools. I think it's fair.
exactly, exactly. That's what I say. It works. Anyway, again, thank you so, so much. I have greatly enjoyed having you on. And people, Olivia Harms, make sure if you're not already following her, go check her out Instagram, Facebook, oliviaharms.com, Spotify, anywhere you can find music. Y'all make sure that you go give her a follow. It is so worth it. And make sure you tune in Sunday nights, 9:30 Eastern. Tune into the road. Watch everybody else. And if you haven't been watching it, go back, check out the first episodes, watch Olivia.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
That's right. You can go see me play.
Yes, it is worth it. It is a terrific show. It has been awesome to watch. And we have, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9 more episodes. There's 9 contestants left. I don't know how the show works. I don't know how many more episodes are left, but it is a fabulous show. Y'all make sure you tune in and watch it. Stay tuned in to Route 6. I'm done talking. Stay tuned in to Route 66. Keep watching us. We have more contestants from the road coming up. So, Olivia, thank you again so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you, darling. That
You're
was a
welcome.
blast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Everybody, y'all have a safe and happy, wonderful week. Remember to stay kind and keep it country. Bye.